Come on, let's go.
Hey. What are you doing? Ooh. Gina.
Wow, David. What an amazing space.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
What is this room used
They
for?
call this the, the mortgage company calls it the big room.
I bet they do.
I call it the ballroom, you know. There was a wall here, tore it down, made it bigger, you know. And that's about all I did. Now it's done. It's finished.
This is finished.
Finished.
You're not going to paint the walls?
No, that's like, you know, I had those patches kind of stabilized, and a lot of the plaster's been kind of sort of re-glued back to the lath, and I think for the time being, this is what it's going to be.
You've laid out some of your work
Some
for us.
photographs, yeah. Some still lifes, some done in this house, some done in Italy. The box series, they were done over in Italy over the course of a few visits. And then
Those are beautiful.
some smaller still lifes.
How did you come up with this idea with the...
Well, I'd always, you know, I only photograph, you know, basically with natural light, and to control that, little shadow box sort of images and stuff before these. And I always struggled to get the light into the box the way I wanted it. So when I was in Italy, I went into this building that was a deserted building, and there was this old cookie tin, and it had this window in it. I'm actually shooting through the lid of the box. It's on its side. And I knew instantly that it was like a little room with a window. It's just like the portraits. I mean, the portraits are done with natural light, a single source window. These two women, they're both oddly enough named Cynthia, and they were done, probably the first two portraits of this kind of composition, very simple head and shoulders, sort of traditional composition. This Cynthia over on my right is a very good friend of mine. She actually lives on Nantucket now, but we knew each other from New York. We cooked together in New York. And then this woman, Cynthia, was someone who I met on the street, or I had approached her on the street in New Orleans, in the French Quarter, and asked her if she would sit for a photograph. She had this incredible hairstyle that was sort of wonderful. And it was just a great experience photographing her. Alex, he was, along with his brother Mario, both of whom are from Honduras, were painting my house, literally the outside of my house. And this is like he was wearing this gear just for protection, you know, as he was sanding. It really does sort of conjure up a lot of other thoughts about who this person is. And I think that, you know, in essence could be one of my more successful portraits on that level, you know. This guy, his name is Jim, and...
I mean, is that pretty much what you see is what you get, though?
What you see is what you get. You know, this is his bicycle lock. Agnes here,
she's beautiful.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I met her, she was working in a coffee shop, and she's English, and she's she's a lawyer over in England. And then, you know, this is Greta Feeney, she's from Nantucket. And she's an opera singer. And they really are sisters on some level, you know, they kind of are cousins, I should say.
You got a guy in the back living in your shed. Why did you do that?
Oh, you mean the National Guard guys?
Yeah.
Well, you know, a good friend of mine from Lafayette, Suzanne, she's in the National Guard, and one of the, Andre, who I think you talked to, he is her stepson, and so there's no question about it. And they're just, they're great guys, they're funny. Hazard County Girls, very loud rock band.
Okay.
Very loud. As she says, it is a wall of sound. And there's three of them, and she is the lead singer and lead guitar player. And she's a doll maker. She makes these sort of Victorian kind of gothic sort of dolls that have sort of tragic circumstances that go on in their lives, and then she photographs them in these sort of narratives and stuff. She's very, very talented girl. I don't know, these two were kind of another couple, maybe like Agnes and Greta. It was Margaret and Hemi. They don't even know each other, it's just my own little sort of pairing. But they kind of seemed more American in a sense to me. Hemi was a dishwasher at a restaurant down in the French Quarter, and he's from North Carolina originally, and the minute he said that, it kind of revealed my early American face,
Right,
you know.
right.
And Margaret, you know, she was also someone that worked in the French Quarter shop, and it was like a 1940s, you know, farm picture or something, you know. She's from North Louisiana.
This guy is interesting.
Nobu, yeah, he was a sushi chef at a Japanese restaurant in the French Quarter, and he was also worked on, he was a mechanic, like an aircraft mechanic. I mean, that is like the koala bear, you know? I mean, I just think he is a beautiful, beautiful face, and I love his posture.
Is there a New Orleans quality to the work now that you live down here?
I think it's what I kind of I've been kind of always sort of after a little bit. I think growing up in sort of a colonial sort of atmosphere, I think it's sort of in me to...
In New England?
Yeah, my parents, you know, they bought a property in Connecticut that was an old carriage house to a bigger property, and I mean, it was a mess, and but it was old and it was kind of funky and beautiful at the same time. And I think that their interests are, you know, have become my interests, and I think this is almost a true reflection of that and them. You know, I mean, they are so into this place.
You mean
themselves.
Your house?
Yeah, my mother and father. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
are?
they love it. I think the idea that New Orleans was really not kind of a mainstream town as far as, you know, culturally or just, you know, in terms of like, you know, East Coast, West Coast, whatever. It was good for me. I don't like a lot of, I work well independently, well alone, and I think that helps me here. And I think that's one thing about New Orleans is that people here, you know, I think if you can forge your own way, this is a great place to be.